Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Dina and today we are taking a look at the cards that I got at the Pokemon Sun and Moon Guardians Rising pre-release. So you may have seen my non-ASMR vlog at this point where I was opening the packs live and competing in the tournament matches or whatever. But here we're going to look through the cards themselves and, of course, take a little bit of a closer look at them. So I ended up doing the first round of pre-release, which was $30. So you got the initial 4 booster packs as well as the promo card and the 2 type Pokemon starter kit. So it had a whole bunch of basic Pokemon and solid evolution lines, so you could actually try and make a deck. And those were themed around the promo Pokemon that you got, as well as some trainer cards, so you weren't totally out of luck. So the first box that I got, I ended up getting the Alolan Sandslash holo, Sun and Moon Guardians Rising little promo stamp there. 110 HP, and he's got Slush Rush. Once during your turn, before your attack, you may draw a card. And Smash Turn for 50, switch this Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. Fleeing a volcanic eruption, it settled on a snowy mountain. As it races through the snowfields, it sends up a spray of snow. Now, unfortunately, in the first round, I only pulled one Sandshrew out of all of the packs, and I think I didn't even pull it. I think it was just the one Sandshrew included in the here, get started Pokemon pack. So I didn't know if it would be worth including in my deck, so I didn't end up doing it. I tried to make a different style of deck, or a different, I think it was still water and something, I can't quite remember, but it didn't go very well. I did not pull anything very strong, and I did not pull a single holo card out of the booster packs or the ones that you got at the end of the tournament. You got 2 more booster packs. So yeah, when some people got anything going on the board, I was pretty much wiped out. So you push this guy out here, and for some reason I only ended up with one of these little card sleeves. I don't know where my other one went. Or I guess card sleeves, booster, pre-release box sleeves, I don't know. So I already sorted these in a previous ASMR video, which is actually going to be out in the future because editing timelines. So these are sorted by type now. And let's see if I can get all of the booster artworks there. We have Alolan Ninetales. And I believe Jangmo-wo or Hakemo-wo. I'm horrible at remembering this guy's evolutionary line name in the correct order. I believe Tapu Koko. I also mix up the Tapus. So that's 3. Do we have the other one handy? Maybe in this box. There we go, Lycanroc. The nighttime version. So unfortunately you don't get booster pack opening noises, but at the end I will crinkle these for you guys. So the pre-release box itself, There you can see the front and back on the little card roundy thing, card holder thing. Inside you will find a 23 card evolution pack, including one of 4 unique foil promo cards, 4 Pokemon TCG Sun and Moon Guardians Rising booster packs, and that would be all. So the little blurb on the back of these, here's one that is not completely destroyed. Island Guardians, ready for battle. Visit Alola for Pokemon fun, from the beaches to the mountain peaks, and discover new traditions and new challenges. Meet the Island Guardians, Tapu Koko GX and Tapu Lele GX, and sharpen your skills with Kahuna Hala and Captain Mallow. Be amazed by the secret powers of Kommo-o GX, Lycanroc GX, Metagross GX, Sylveon GX, Toxapex GX, Vigavolt GX, and many more. Come to the islands and seize the power of Pokemon TCG Sun and Moon Guardians Rising expansion. So there are 145 cards in this set without secret rares, which is a pretty fair number, I think. So we also got this little mini instructions / poster. Island Guardians, ready for battle. Oh, that's just the little blurb that was on the back, actually, of that pack. Then we have some pre-release tips. Welcome to the pre-release tournament for the Pokemon TCG Sun and Moon Guardians Rising expansion. Here are some tips and guidelines for how the event works. This box contains a 22-card evolution pack, 1 exclusive foil promo card, 4 booster packs. You'll use these cards along with basic energy provided by the tournament organizer to build a 40-card deck. The 22-card evolution pack is a starting point to build your deck. It contains Pokemon of a few different energy types, along with some of their evolutions. A handful of trainer cards are included as well. You may use as many of these cards as you like when building your deck. Your evolution pack includes 1 of 4 promo cards. You can use this exclusive card in your deck. Open your 4 booster packs and see what cards you get. You could find a Pokemon GX or other powerful cards to add to your deck. Just remember that some Pokemon GX are evolution Pokemon, so you need their earlier stages to put them into play. Try to focus on a few evolution chains to build your deck around. Usually it's a good idea to play as many copies of your chosen basic Pokemon and its evolutions as you can. Include as many trainer cards as you can. They're important for gaining an advantage over your opponent. Just watch out for ones that have no effect in your deck. Energy cards are crucial for powering up your Pokemon, so make sure you leave room for about 15 to 20 in your deck. Try to stick to 2 to 3 energy types, or you might not be able to find the ones you need during your games. In a pre-release tournament, the normal limit of 4 cards with the same name doesn't apply. For example, if you have 5 copies of Mudbray, you can use all of them. When you've finished building your deck, the tournament organizer will pair you with an opponent for the first round. Good luck, trainer. So, let's go through some of these type by type. I've already sorted them out and alphabetized them, but let's look at some of the good cards that I did pull first. Oh, so that was my first promo, the Sandslash, and my second promo that I got. Here's the deck that I did not dismantle yet, so we can take a look at that in a bit. Drampa is the second promo holo that I got. So I didn't get any holos until like the middle to end of the day, when I was actually already determined to go for a second pre-release because I didn't get anything really in the first. So here's a reverse holo Victory Bell that I got. 140 HP, Pollen Hazard for 20. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned, confused, and poisoned, which is actually pretty good. And Stick and Absorb 80. Heal 20 damage from this Pokemon. The defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. Said to live in huge colonies deep in jungles, although no one has ever returned from there. Next, one of my favorites, Mimikyu Reverse Holo, which is a rare Reverse Holo, so I'm including it in the good cards because I did not get very much to show off at this point. Mimikyu has 70 HP. Filch is the attack here, draw 2 cards, and Copycat. If your opponent's Pokemon used an attack that isn't a GX attack during their last turn, use it as this attack. Its actual appearance is unknown. A scholar who saw what was under its rag was overwhelmed by terror and died from the shock. And then we have our regular rare Turtonator. I kind of included him because he's like, I wouldn't say like legendary, but he's like special. 110 HP, Body Slam, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed, and Heat Blast 490. The shell on its back is chemically unstable and explodes violently if struck. The hole in its stomach is its weak point. And got one other Reverse Holo rare, Lunala, which is actually pretty cool looking. 160 HP. Scatter Shot is the first attack, 40 times. This attack does 40 damage times the amount of psychic energy attached to this Pokemon. Wings of the Moon here, 130. Move all energy from this Pokemon to your benched Pokemon in any way you like. It is said to be a female evolution of Cosmog. When its third eye activates, away it flies to another world. Then we've got a Holo Chandelure, the first holo that I pulled of the day. One of 2, sadly. Out of 4, 6, 12, 13 packs. Out of 13 packs, I got 2 holos and 1 GX. It is a full art GX card, but yeah, we'll get to him in a moment. Chandelure, 140 HP, and so shiny that my camera does not want to focus. Shady Move is the ability. Once during your turn before your attack, you may move 1 damage counter from one of your Pokemon to another Pokemon. Super Singe here for 50. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. Being consumed in Chandelure's flame burns up the spirit, leaving the body behind. Creepy. And we have Blissey Holo, 160 HP, Fresh Egg ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may heal 80 damage from your active Pokemon, which is conveniently the amount that he would do to himself during Double Edge. 160 damage though, so pretty good. Even the most ferocious Pokemon become calm when they eat Blissey's egg, which is said to be filled with happiness. So our best pull of the day would be Drampa GX Full Art, which happened on like my second to last pack of the day, so yeah, it was about time, I'll say. And my nails match him. Not quite a rainbow rare, but it sure looks close, huh? This Drampa the Grandpa has 180 HP with Righteous Edge for 20. Discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. And Berserk, 80+. If your benched Pokemon have any damage counters on them, this attack does 70 more damage. Could have definitely used him, especially because he's a basic, during the actual tournament, but no, I had to pull him once the tournament was over. Big Wheel GX is the GX move here. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 10 cards. You can't use more than 1 GX attack in a game. Number 142 out of 145. So I'm definitely looking forward to collecting more from this set. Ideally, a booster box would be fun that I can then create a deck or 2 out of to give away to you guys. I know I've toyed with the idea in the past, but I think it's finally time for me to actually put in the work to learn how to make a kind of competitive deck that I can give away. So let's take a look at the rest of the cards. Starting on this side, we have Gothita, made of clay, 60 HP with Blown Kiss. Put 1 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Their ribbon-like feelers increase their psychic power. They're always staring at something. And then we have a Gothorita, 80 HP, and it's a Manipulate Pokemon. Slap for a simple 20 and Psybeam for 30. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Starlight is the source of their power. At night, they mark star positions by using psychic power to float stones. Here we have the Dancing Oricorio, 90 HP, Vital Dance. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. And we have Casual Slap for 30. This Oricorio relaxes by swaying gently. This increases its psychic energy, which it then fires at its enemies. Slowpoke, 70 HP, relaxing in a bed of flowers. And he is a dopey Pokemon. Headbutt for 10 and Whimsy Tackle for 60. But you have to flip a coin, and if tails, it does nothing. Its long tail often breaks off. Ooh, it doesn't really feel any pain though, and the tail grows back, so Slowpoke isn't particularly bothered. Does remind me of in the 2nd gen where Team Rocket was cutting off all the tails to sell because they were like a delicacy. Now into Dragon type, we've got Gumi, 50 HP, and he's like a crocheted little Gumi. Bubble, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. And he has a Water Fairy Tackle here, 20. The weakest of all Dragon type Pokemon. Oh, it's unable to breathe if its skin dries out, so it sticks to shady places. Next, Hakamowo, 90 HP, Headbutt, and he is a Fighting and Lightning type dragon. Dragon Claw for 80. It leaps at its prey with a courageous shout. Its scaly punches tear its opponents to shreds. So we got 4 of those guys actually. And a Jangmo-o, 60. Bulletproof is the ability. This Pokemon takes 10 less damage from attacks after applying weakness and resistance. And Dragon Claw for 30. It expresses its feelings by smacking its scales. Metallic sounds echo through the tall mountains where Jangmo-o lives. Clefable, into the Fairy type here. 100 HP, Lullaby for 20. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. Meteor Mash for 60. During your next turn, this Pokemon's Meteor Mash attack does 60 more damage, before applying weakness and resistance. They don't like to reveal themselves in front of people. They live quietly in packs deep in the mountains. And we have Clefairy here, 60 HP, Slap for 10, and Follow Me. Switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon with their active Pokemon. Its adorable behavior and appearance make it popular with men and women, young and old. Its numbers are few, however. And I only got one of them. Next up we have Cottony, 50 HP, Continuous Tumble. Flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 10 damage for each heads. When it finds others of its kind, they all stick together. When enough of them have collected, the mass resembles a cumulonimbus cloud. Also got its evolved form here, Whimsicott. This one is a reverse holo. 80 HP. The Wages of Fluff. If the defending Pokemon is knocked out during your next turn, take 2 more prize cards. And Fairy Wind for 30. It rides in the wind and slips into people's homes. After it's turned a room into a cotton-filled mess, it giggles to itself and takes off. Our single dark Pokemon, at least not in the mini deck that I created, is Murkrow. 70 HP, Whirlwind for 10. Your opponent switches their active Pokemon with one of their benched Pokemon. They awaken at dusk and take wing in the twilight, leading to the expression, "Get home before the Murkrow fly." And he's got some jewels stashed there. Beldum is our first steel Pokemon. 60 HP, Core Beam. Discard a steel energy from this Pokemon. Its cells are all magnets. It uses magnetism to communicate with others of its kind. Metang, which evolves from Beldum, 90 HP and a Ram for 20, with Core Beam 80. Still have to discard an energy though. When two Beldum link together, their psychic power is doubled. Their intelligence, however, remains unchanged. And next we have a Lowland Geodude with quite the impressive eyebrows. I think it's interesting that it's lightning or electric type due to the magnetism. Rock Polish. During your next turn, this Pokemon has no retreat cost. And roll out for 40. Its body is a magnetic stone. Iron sand attaches firmly to the portions of its body that are particularly magnetic. I suppose like its eyebrows. Heliolisk is next. 100 HP. Quick attack for 20 plus. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 20 more damage. And Raging Thunder, 120. Does 30 damage to one of your benched Pokemon, unfortunately. They flare their frills and generate energy. A single Heliolisk can generate sufficient electricity to power a skyscraper. And he is a rare. And Helioptile, 60 HP. Thundershock is the only attack for 10. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. They make their homes in deserts. They can generate the energy from basking in the sun, so eating food is not a requirement. Next we have energy and some trainers. Altar of the Moon. The retreat cost of each Pokemon that has any psychic or dark energy attached to it is 2 less. Similarly, we have one for Altar of the Sun right behind it. Fire Pokemon and Steel Pokemon have no weakness. Aqua Patch. Attach a water energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched water Pokemon. Choice Band. The attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon GX or active Pokemon EX. Got 3 of those. Oops, Energy Recycler should come after Energy Lotto, alphabetically. Energy Lotto. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal an energy card you find there and put it into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Energy Recycler. Shuffle 5 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. Field Blower. Choose up to 2 in any combination of Pokemon Tool cards and Stadium cards in play, and discard them. Hala. Shuffle your hand into your deck. If you have used your GX attack, draw 7 cards. If not, draw 4. We've seen Lilie before. Draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. If it's your first turn, draw cards until you have 8 cards in your hand. Mallow. Sort your deck for 2 cards, shuffle your deck, then put those cards on top of it in any order. Nest Ball. Search your deck for basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. Professor Kukui. Draw 2 cards. During this turn, your Pokemon's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Rescue Stretcher. You can choose one. Put a Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand, or shuffle 3 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. And Timer Ball is the last trainer. Flip 2 coins. For each heads, sort your deck for an evolution Pokemon. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So that was this chunk of cards. Got these ones to go through as well. And the little mini deck that I had for the second pre-release round. Starting off with the fighting types here, we have Barboach, which I assume is only fighting type because it's like ground. Hook for 10 and Mudslap for 20. Its 2 whiskers provide a sensitive radar. Even in muddy waters, it can detect its prey's location. Oops, this is a little much to hold all at once. Gligar, Double Shot, does 10 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. It usually clings to cliffs. When it spots its prey, it spreads its wings and glides down to attack. Quite a few of those, as well as Gliscor, 110 HP. Finishing Stinger does 70 damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon has no damage counters on it before its attack does damage, the attack does nothing, unfortunately. As well as Guillotine for 90. It observes prey while hanging inverted from branches. When the chance presents itself, it swoops. Machoke, 100 HP. Daunting Pose ability. Prevent all damage done to your benched Pokemon by your opponent's attacks. Your opponent's attacks and abilities can't put damage counters on your benched Pokemon. Cross Chop for 30+. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 30 more damage. As a result of its continual workouts, it has developed tremendous power. It uses that power to help people with their work. Now we have 2 different Machop here. First one on the right has 60 HP. Dynamic Chop for 50. It loves working out. As it gazes at its muscles, which continue to swell day by day, it becomes more and more dedicated to its training. And on the left we have one that has 70 HP and Dual Chop 30 times. Flip 2 coins. This attack does 30 damage for each heads. Next up, Mudbray, 80 HP with Double Kick, 30, flip 2 coins. This attack does 30 damage for each heads. The mud stuck to Mudbray's hooves enhances its grip and its powerful running gait. And of course the evolved form, Mudsdale, 140 HP with Enhanced Stomp for 60+. If this Pokemon has a Pokemon Tool card attached to it, it does 60 more damage. And High Horsepower, 180, but it does 40 damage to itself, which is unfortunate. It spits a mud that provides resistance to both wind and rain, so the walls of old houses were often coated with it. That's gross. And Nose Pass, 80+, Ram for 20, and Rising Lunge, 30+. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 30 more damage. The magnet in Nose Pass's nose provides an unerring compass, making it an excellent partner for trainers going on a journey. Pancham is next up, 60 HP, and Karate Chop, 60-. This attack does 10 damage less for each damage counter on this Pokemon. It grows up imitating the behavior of Pangoro, which it looks up to as a leader. And here's a Rockruff, so cute, 60 HP. Corner, the defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. Wild Kick for 30. Flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. It's considered to be a good Pokemon for beginners because of its friendliness, but its disposition grows rougher as it grows up. Whiscash is our last fighting Pokemon. 130 HP. Water Pulse for 60. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. And Elant Slip for 100 times. Discard the top 3 cards of your deck. This attack does 100 damage for each energy card you discarded this way. A glutton that devours anything that moves. It quietly lurks at the bottom of swamps, lying in wait for prey. And he is a rare, and I got 3 of him. So that's where a lot of my non-holo rare pulls were. Well, I guess I can put it on top. Our next card here, Delibird. All the presents. Well, he has 90 HP and has an attack all the presents. Flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads, you may search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Surprise attack for 40. Flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. Although it naturally prefers colder locales, Delibird and Alola seem to be able to withstand the heat to a certain extent. Glalie is next up, 120 HP, and he looks pretty angry, doesn't he? Crunch is the first attack for 40. Flip a coin. If heads, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Raging Flow for 70 plus. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, this attack does 80 more damage. Oof. Legend says, a boulder on an icy mountain absorbed the distress and regrets of a stranded mountaineer, giving rise to Glalie. Creepy. Marini is next. There are some Marini in the Sun and Moon, the regular Sun and Moon that we got, but he's also in this set. Brutal Star Pokemon. Bail out. Put a Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand, and Rain Splash for 10. It plunges the poison spike on its head into its prey. When the prey is weakened, Marini deals a finishing blow with its 10 tentacles. We have a reverse holo Alolan Sandshrew. Very cute, looks like a little igloo. 60 HP. Defense Curl. Flip a coin. If heads, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks during your opponent's next turn. That was an attack that was used against me quite a few times. And Ice Ball for 30. It lives on snowy mountains. Its steel shell is very hard, so much so it can't roll its body up into a ball. Aw, poor guy. Sharpedo, 90 HP. Brutal Pokemon. Jet Headbutt 470. It pursues its prey at speeds of 75 miles per hour and finishes them off with fangs that can crush iron. It is known as the Bully of the Sea, and this is a non-holo rare. Snorunt, 60 HP, and he's sitting in a freezer or fridge. Chili for 10 and Frost Breath for 20. Their numbers seem to have rapidly increased in Alola. Custom has it that houses where Snorunt live will be prosperous for generations to come. Tentacool here, 60 HP. Sludge Shock for 10. The defending Pokemon can't be healed during your opponent's next turn. They can be found lying dehydrated on beaches, but they are often still alive. When soaked in water, they will revive. Aww. And I got reverse holo of him as well. Vanillish, 80 HP with Ice Shard for 30 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a fighting Pokemon, this attack does 30 more damage. Hot Daze causes its body to melt. It can be restored by refreezing it, but the process leaves its body slightly warped. And then the basic form, Vanillite, with a very cartoony artwork. 50 HP, triple spin. Flip 3 coins. This attack does 10 damage for each heads. Born of an icicle, this Pokemon uses its frosty breath to make ice crystals, causing snow to fall. Quite a few of them. And Vanillux. This is a reverse holo rare, actually. I'm probably should have included it out in the good quote pulls, but here we go. 140 HP with Hail. This attack does 20 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Or each of your opponent's Pokemon, just like flat out, so benched included. Frozen Breath for 80. You may discard 2 water energy from this Pokemon. If you do, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Each of its 2 heads has a brain, and when they are in agreement, it attacks its enemies by exhaling a violent blizzard. Oh, but it looks so cute and happy. Got another one, non-holo rare, and another non-holo rare, so you can see where a lot of my rares were concentrated. Super cute Alolan Vulpix is up next. Oh, he's so fluffy. 60 HP with Beacon. Search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. And Icy Snow for 20. It exhales air colder than negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. That's oddly specific. Elderly people in Alola call this Pokemon by an older name, Keo Keo. Wishy Washy is next. 30 HP, Schooling ability. Once during your turn before your attack, you may switch this Pokemon with a Wishy Washy GX in your hand. Any attached cards, damage counters, special conditions, turns in play, and other effects remain on the new Pokemon. Sharp Shooting. This attack does 10 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. When it's in trouble, its eyes moisten and begin to shine. The shining light attracts its comrades, and they stand together against their enemies. Now we're into the grass types. Bellsprout is first up. 60 HP with a simple Vine Whip for 30. Even though its body is extremely skinny, it is blindingly fast when catching its prey. Lilligant is next. 90 HP. Petal Blizzard. This attack does 10 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance for a benched Pokemon. And Petal Dance. Flip 3 coins. This attack does 40 damage for each heads. This Pokemon is now confused. No matter how much time and money is spent raising it, its flowers are the most beautiful when they bloom in the wild. Aww. Non-holo rare. So I have 2 of those guys. Petalil, 50 HP. Blot for 10, and heal 10 damage from this Pokemon. Although the leaves on its head are bitter enough to cause dizziness, they provide relief from weariness, even more so when boiled. Quite a few of him. Phantump, hanging out with a Mimikyu in the background. 60 HP with Tackle for 10, and Confuse Ray. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. These Pokemon are stumps, possessed by the spirits of children who died in the forest. Their cries sound like eerie screams. Makes sense he would be hanging out with Mimikyu then. We also have a Victory Bell. So this is a non-holo rare, and I also have a reverse holo rare. I actually had one pack where I pulled a reverse holo rare Victory Bell and then a regular rare Victory Bell in the same pack. That was disappointing. Victory Bell has 140 HP, Pawn Hazard, and Stick and Absorb, as we saw earlier. Weepin' Bell, finally getting that middle Evo there. 80 HP with Muddy Acid for 40. Flip a coin, heads discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. The leafy parts act as cutters for slashing foes. It spits a fluid that dissolves everything. And that would be all for grass type. We have a couple fire type here. Lampent, 80 HP, and Will-O-Wisp for 30. The spirits it absorbs fuel its baleful fire. It hangs around hospitals waiting for people to pass on. Creeper. Litwick for 50, with Flickering Flames for 10. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. When shining a light and pretending to be a guide, it leeches off the life force of anyone who follow it. Here we have the Flamenco style Oricordio, 90 HP. Passionate Dance. Search your deck for up to 3 basic fire Pokemon and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. Also Kindle for 30. Discard an energy from this Pokemon. If you do, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. It beats its wings together to create fire. As it moves in the steps of its beautiful dance, it bathes opponents in intense flames. And this is a non-holo rare. We also have Sandalite for 70 HP, Scratch for 10, and Venoshock for 20+. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, this attack does 40 more damage. It burns its bodily fluids to create a poisonous gas. When its enemies become disoriented from inhaling the gas, it attacks them. That would be all for the fire type. Normal is our last type here. Cast form with 70 HP, Weather Teller. Search your deck for up to 2 stadium cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Water Pulse here for 30. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. It changes its form depending on the weather. Changes in the temperature or humidity appear to affect its cellular structure. Chansey here, 110 HP. Bind Wound. Flip a coin if heads heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon, and a simple Hammer in for 80. The eggs laid by Chansey are rich in nutrients and are a favorite food for many Pokemon. Cute little Fletchling, checking out the camera here it looks like, 50 HP, and Growl. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's attacks do 20 less damage, and Flap for 20. This amiable Pokemon is easy to train, but when battle is joined, it shows its ferocious side. Komala the Koala is next up, 80 HP, Comatose ability. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, whenever you attach an energy from your hand to it, it is now asleep. Hypno Roll makes use of that ability for 100 damage. This attack can be used if this Pokemon is asleep. If it is not asleep, it does nothing. It is born asleep, and it dies asleep. All its movements are apparently no more than the results of it tossing and turning in its dreams. Yet somehow it tosses and turns powerfully enough to inflict 100 damage. Patrat is next up, 60 HP. Glance. Look at the top card of your opponent's deck and tackle for 20. Using food stored in its cheek pouches, they can keep watch for days. They use their tails to communicate with others. The cute yet dangerous Stuffle is next. Flailing Pokemon is its type here. 70 HP and tackle for 10 with Hammer in for 60. Despite its adorable appearance, when it gets angry and flails about, its arms and legs could knock a pro wrestler sprawling. Impressive for a 1 foot 8 inch tall, 15-pound little stuffed animal. Or a stuffed animal looking Pokemon, rather. Tailo is next, 60 HP, Reckless Charge for 20, and it does 10 damage to itself. It has a gutsy spirit that makes it bravely take on tough foes. It flies in search of warm climates. Talonflame is our second to last, 130 HP. Flame Charge. Search your deck for a fire energy card and attach it to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. It does 30 damage, yet oddly, the Loop does not require a fire energy card. But it does do 90 damage. Put all energy attached to this Pokemon into your hand. Its favorite foods are Wingull and Piggyback. Ooh. It attacks with a powerful kick and grasps them firmly in its talons. A non-holo rare. Lastly, we have Watchog, which, thanks to the Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, I will always think of him as Principal Watchog. Scrutinize is the first attack. Look at the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck, discard one of them and put the other card back. Slam. Flip 2 coins. This attack does 60 damage for each heads. Using luminescent matter, it makes its eyes and body glow and stuns attacking opponents. So those were all the cards in more detail that I got during the pre-release. Here are the cards that were in the 40 card little deck that I used during the second round of the pre-release for the actual fighting. A lot of these cards are going to be repeats of what we saw here, but maybe some of them are going to be new. Drampa is the promo, and actually I may as well take these out of the sleeves as we go so I can sort them correctly. $120 HP for a basic Pokemon, pretty good. Mass is the first attack. Search your deck for a basic energy card and attach it to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. And Power Cyclone. Move an energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. It has a compassionate personality, but if it is angered, it completely destroys its surroundings with intense breath. So put him over in the special pile. Got some fighting energies here. So for this deck I went with fighting type and dark type. Since the promo I got, Drampa, had colorless, I could really have done anything. It just depended on the other cards that I had the most types of. Oh yeah, so how, draw 3 cards, Great Ball. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Pokemon you find there and put it into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. It was also kind of a somewhat hectic atmosphere. You know, opening all the cards and then trying to put together a deck for the first time with cards you haven't played with before, or at least I hadn't really. Because I was a smart person who went into this without looking at the cards because I like to be surprised when a new set comes up. Not really the smartest if I then have to play against other people and make decks using such cards, but yeah, I learned that pretty quickly. Should have done a little research beforehand, but still a cool experience. If I had only pulled slightly better cards. Chansey Reverse Holo here. Dark type. Panjam. Fighting. I think partially the reason why I went for fighting and dark is Pancham evolves into Pangoro, which is dark type, so thought that would work. Plus I had a ton of fighting type from this series. Machop. I put in this Oricorio just for the Vital Dance ability, because I just needed to really fill up this deck, actually. And that is a non-holo rare. So yeah, I lost the first 3 matches because I didn't really know what I was doing, and some people got crazy lucky with what they were able to put into their deck that they had pulled. And then in the second round, I won 2 of the 3 matches. Almost won the 3rd, but yeah. So it wasn't the worst, but I would have definitely done better if I had actually read about the cards and maybe some strategy in forming a 40 card deck instead of like a traditional 60 card one. So here we have a Honchkrow, 110 HP. Feigned Attack. This attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. This damage isn't affected by weakness, resistance, blah blah blah. And Raven's Claw, 10+. This attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on all your opponent's Pokemon. That was partially why I chose this guy. I thought I could get kind of tricky with it. Single Cry. From this nocturnal Pokemon, and more than 100 of its Murkrow cronies will assemble. You can see all the Murkrow in the background there flying in. So when the new Pokemon Go, the second gen got released, I totally forgot that Honchkrow wasn't an original edition. I had a whole bunch of candy for Murkrow and I was like, oh, shouldn't I be able to evolve him soon? And then I was like, oh, right, Honchkrow wasn't introduced until like the 4th gen or something. Yeah, it seemed like a Pokemon that always should have had an evolution, so I'm glad that they included it, or created it. And here we have Pangoro, 130 HP. Sky Uppercut for 70. This attack damage isn't affected by resistance. And Magnum Punch for 130. Woohoo! It boasts superb physical strength. Those who wish to become Pangoro's trainer have no choice but to converse with their fists. And that is a non-holo rare. And the card sleeves, I just chose one from one of the Elite Trainer boxes that we opened. This was, I think, actually my first Elite Trainer box that I ever opened. Roaring Skies. Didn't really have too much of a reason for picking that one over any other. Looking here, actually, you can see that I have, or maybe not, I think the camera's too zoomed in. We also opened Steam Siege, Breakpoint, and Ancient Origins booster, or not booster boxes, Elite Trainer boxes. I had meant to do one for Primal Clash, but I never quite got around to it. Maybe I should go back and give that set another go. We opened the Primal Kyogre box together, and then I think I may have opened like a couple Primal Clash packs like off camera, because that's back when I was still testing out filming card openings, and sometimes just opening them for myself, so yeah. I actually want to see if there are any cool sets that are under $100 for booster boxes. Some older ones that we may have missed, because I think it would be fun to go back and open them as well. Ultra of the Moon. So the difference between a regular deck and these, so usually you're using 60 cards and playing with like 6 prizes. Here, 40 card deck and 4 prizes, so quicker game. And it was kind of funny, depending on the type matchup and like what people happen to draw. Some games were over in like a turn or two, and then other ones were actually pretty evenly matched and went on for like the full amount of time that they were given, like a half hour or something. And last up, an Alolan Vulpix, mostly so I could have this attack here. Search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. And Icy Snow could use any type, so just thought that was a good reason to include it as well. So yeah, that was the overview of the deck that I created. Oops, never really showed Pseudo Widow. An uncommon card, 100 HP with Road Block ability. Your opponent can't have more than 4 benched Pokemon. If they have 5 or more benched Pokemon, they discard benched Pokemon until they have 4 Pokemon on the bench. If more than one effect changes the number of benched Pokemon allowed, use the smaller number. And Rock Throw for 40. To avoid attack, it mimics a tree. It will run off if splashed with water, which it hates. Yeah, so it looks actually like not that much once it's all out in the open. I suppose that's about all I have to say about the Guardians Rising cards that I got. If you want to see me pull them in live, real time, as well as little snippets from the actual day, I did a non-ASMR vlog where you can see me pull all these cards in real time, as well as little snippets of I was trying not to like be too obnoxious about filming, so like there are little like shots of the games as we're playing them and stuff. But yeah, you can see how that went if you like. Warning though, it's non-ASMR. I'm not gonna make it like crazy hyper or anything, but you know, there will be like music in the background as well as a voiceover in a non-soft spoken voice, so you have been warned. Unfortunately, there was not really a way that I could travel with all my equipment for filming and be able to do it in a ASMR type way. So that was the only way that I thought we could film it, but also we would take a closer look at them here together. Not to mention that we only had a limited amount of time to kind of get all our ducks in a row as far as decks. So yeah, hope you enjoyed seeing these cards close up, as the actual regular release isn't until May 5th, so quite a ways away still. Thanks for watching, and just gonna make some ASMR sounds until the end of the video. Bye!